This is Lorena Mora-Mowry. Today, for Mujer Latina Today, we have the pleasure to interview Maestro William White, o Memo, o Guillermo.
Sí.
Vamos a hablar de Guillermo. He's a conductor of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, the Youth Orchestra.
That's right.
And they're going for a tour. The
Yes.
30th anniversary for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah.
And will be celebrating the 50th anniversary that was founded. But today we're talking about the beginning, because I was just telling you about the importance of inspiring my community, and I want to talk about the beginnings, your first music, the first classical music that you heard, and you say, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I love it. Which was the composer and the first one that inspired you, who is now Guillermo White today?
Guillermo Blanco.
Guillermo Blanco.
There's no one thing that I can remember being the main event, but I'll tell you, the first music that inspired me was not classical music. It was first, I loved Elvis. When I was like
Really?
8 or 9 years old, I loved Elvis, then I loved the Beatles, then I loved Nirvana. Those bands
Of course.
were for me. And then classical music, I started playing the viola when I was about 9 years old. And then I just sort of slowly started to like it. I remember I loved Handel's water music, and I really liked Vivaldi, all of the string music by Vivaldi. And then slowly I just started, this was in the days where you could buy really cheap CDs, like at Best Buy, for 99 cents, and you would just go and get a ton of them. And I would just go buy a lot of them with my allowance and listen to them constantly, like when I was doing my homework or whatever. And slowly, it just sort of happened. I was playing an orchestra at school, and I started to write music at home. I had a little keyboard. I just started to kind of figure out how to compose some music, and then I got some chances to conduct our orchestra in my high school, and that was definitely a moment when it clicked. I mean, I had never felt anything like that before. So that propelled me on this.
But you went from the viola to be an orchestra. You have to be conducting all these different instruments. How difficult it is? Because I think about viola is one, but
Right.
How you can coordinate, and this is always amazing me.
I'll tell you, it's interesting because a lot of people who play viola end up being conductors and composers sometimes too. And I think it's because our parts are usually not very hard. And, it's not like the main thing. It's not the first violin with the melody, We're sort of interior. So we get to listen a lot to everything that's going on around us. And we sort of have this part that fits in between the lower and the higher parts. So I think that you learn kind of how the orchestra works playing the viola very well. And so that's something that kind of...
So you start conducting, but I kind of wonder, when you were composing, what type of music? More like Elvis style, or maybe Nirvana, you want to be a rock and roll?
No, it wasn't like, it was more classical when I started doing it. I had sort of gotten into it. I was listening to, like I said, Vivaldi and Mozart and Beethoven by that time. So I think Beethoven, who's still probably my favorite composer, was a big influence on me when I started to write music.
Well, how old are you? Can I ask you?
Yeah, 29, about to turn 30.
Well, he's 29, and he's a young conductor.
I appreciate you saying that.
Well, I'm just saying that it's just, to become a conductor so young. But you are conducting a youth orchestra.
Yeah.
And tell me about that, the role, how you like the most to be a conductor, and conducting very young people, very young age, and you inspire them to continue to become a conductor, or could be a musician, to study music, or to inspire all others and to keep going with the music.
I love conducting youth orchestra. To me, it's the most rewarding thing because, you can... I have high schoolers in the group. They're 9th through 12th grade. And so over the course of a year or over the course of several years, I get to see them grow, not only as musicians, but as people too. And I like to think that I can do something to inspire them, but it makes no difference to me if they go on to become musicians. That it just doesn't matter. If they do, that's great, and I'll support them if they make that choice. But to take music into their lives, whatever they do, or to take the kind of discipline and you know, to be a musician, you have to really look inside of yourself and figure out what it is that you can do on your own, you know, and make that kind of a commitment to lifelong learning. Those are the kind of lessons that I really hope I impart to the students, whether or not they become a musician.
You're going to Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're going to, let's talk about the tour, because it's exciting. You're going to high school, you're going to play at the aquarium, that's what I'm thinking.
We're going to play at the planetarium.
The planetarium,
yeah.
I was close.
You were close. Yeah, this is our first tour in something like 30 years, I understand it. The CSYO, that's the Cincinnati Symphony Youth Orchestra, went on a big tour to Europe in 1977, I think it was.
That's a long time ago.
Yes, a long time ago. I think that there might have been a smaller one, you know, since then. But it's been really a long time. And as soon as I got here, I said, one of the first things I said was, you know, look, we got to go on a tour. I mean, that's just like what you do in a youth orchestra. It's, you know, I mean, everybody loves that. So we're kind of starting small. We're doing this little run-out tour. It's just over a weekend. We're going to Chicago. We're playing 2 concerts. But these concerts are going to be really great, especially we're doing, the concerts are on Saturday, May 25th and Sunday the 26th. The one on the 25th is going to be this great program where we are actually joining forces for one piece with a group called the Yours Project Orchestra, which is modeled after the Venezuelan El Sistema.
I'm from Venezuela.
You're from Venezuela! Oh my gosh, yeah. So you know all about this, you know, this transformative youth orchestra program that they have down there. This orchestra in Chicago, it's located in largely an immigrant community with people from all over the world, and actually it's mainly refugee community.
Wow.
So you have people from a lot of sort of Middle Eastern countries and from various places all over the world. And this orchestra, they're in middle school. They meet for 2 hours after every day, after every school day. So we're going to partner with them. They're going to play a little bit of music. We're going to do something combined. Then our youth orchestra will play our kind of main program. And for that, one thing that I'm excited about is that we're playing all 20th and 21st century music, which is something that, you know, not many youth orchestras do. We're playing pieces by living composers, including a lady who is our composer in residence here at the Cincinnati Symphony. We're playing maybe the ultimate piece of Latino music, the Danzón Número 2 by Arturo Marquez, which, you know, this is a Cuban dance written by a Mexican composer that was made famous by a Venezuelan orchestra. I mean, you know, how much more Latino does it get?
When you talk about now the orchestra is going to the barrio, to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think the example of the Sistema from Venezuela, but how is the Sistema or this, now that you're here, the approach that you're giving to this new, go to the neighborhood, go to the school, let's inspire or let's learn, let's talk about music?
Yeah, I mean, well, certainly the tour has something to do with that, you know, going out, getting out there, kind of giving the kids new experiences. Definitely a new experience to partner with this other orchestra. Here at the Cincinnati Symphony, we have multiple programs that we're trying to incorporate a lot of different people. We have this thing called the Nouveau Chamber Players, which is focused on minorities, to get them classical music in their life and to get access and sort of an understanding of what it means to be involved in it. We are starting to partner with a group here in Cincinnati called My Cincinnati, which is another youth and music program.
From Price Hill.
Yeah, Price Hill, exactly. And you know, that's aimed at giving sort of immigrant communities access to classical music. So there, you know, we're starting to figure out some programming that we can do with them as well. So it's all part of a larger picture, I guess.
So you're touring to Chicago and you're coming to Cincinnati. Are you going to play in Cincinnati?
Yeah. We have an annual Memorial Day concert that we play at Eden Park, is that what it's called? The Season Good Pavilion, right by the Art Museum here. And you know, that's sort of that'll be very much a celebration, because we're going to play our 2 concerts in Chicago on Saturday and Sunday, and then we're going to come back here and play our program here in Cincinnati on Monday.
Well, you will be very busy.
Yeah.
To conclude our interview, because we can talk a lot.
Yeah.
¿De dónde es Guillermo? Where is Guillermo? Where he's come from?
Me? Oh, I'm from Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah. But I lived in Chicago for a long time, which is why it was very appealing, this idea of going to Chicago.
What is the music in your iPad?
Oh my gosh, it's like everything. Right?
7,000 songs of the...
You know what I'm listening to right now is, I'm really into Nina Simone.
Oh, yes, yes.
I don't know why, I'm just sort of on a kick with her music right now. You know, I'm always listening to pieces with the ear of, you know, should we play this in the youth orchestra? I mean, you know, I spend my summers in Maine at a orchestral festival called the Pierre Monteux School. And there we play 60 pieces of orchestral music. So it's sort of like everything all the time. But yeah, you know, and I'm still composing. I'm writing film scores and stuff. It's just, you know, on and on and on.
So when you look at yourself now, I know, you say, oh my God, I did it. This is the dream come true.
Yeah, I try to think that, for sure. Because then there's always in the back of my mind, what's next? You know? So at the same time, I think, boy, this, you know, how could life get any better? But then I'm always thinking, boy, what's next? What's the next thing that I'm going to do?
The eager to learn more. The
always to learn more.
Well, it's a message, but you want to share another message for the community that can see you and they can come and be part of these wonderful programs?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my message would be, you know, that just having music as a part of your life is just, it's essential as far as I'm concerned. And that could be any music. But to have that as, you know, music is part of our culture, and it's a way that we can all connect to each other and be, you know, but, I mean, that's the thing, anybody can like any music, right? I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, I could like, you know, Elvis or Nina Simone or anything like that. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, the culture that you came from, but it's something that can connect you to other people around the world. And especially these days where we have access to everything all the time on the internet, I mean, it's just a great time to be alive.
Well, music has connected us to connect our community with music. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.